As part of its commitment to the socio-economic development of Nigeria, FSDH Merchant Bank hosted clients and stakeholders to the 4th edition of its Roundtable series, which focused on the theme, Women, Money, and Building a Financial Legacy. In her opening remarks, the MDC of FSDH Merchant Bank, Mrs. Hamda Amba, gave further insight into the choice of the theme.
It is with very great pleasure that I welcome you all to this event. This represents the 4th in a series of seminars of this sort that FSDH Merchant Bank has held. Our first event a few years ago was on a topic of offshore strategies for wealth preservation and succession planning. And at that time, it was targeted only at our existing clients. Since then, our audience has grown to include our other friends and prospective clients. We are very honored today to be able to present Her Excellency, Mrs. Dolapo Osinbajo, as not only our chief guest of honor, but as our keynote speaker. The topic of today is Women, Money, and Building a Financial Legacy. We are eagerly looking forward to hearing the perspective of Her Excellency on this topic.
Special guest of honor and the wife of the Vice President, Mrs. Dolapo Osinbajo, in our keynote, stressed the need for women to imbibe a robust savings culture and also be investment savvy.
How do we build? We can build with what we've got already, and we must build. We must make that choice to build. Each of us is peculiar, and pardon me if I lean on a word of scripture that's found in Isaiah 55:10. It talks about giving seed to the sower and bread to the eater. And so we're told of a benevolent God that gives us rain and gives us seed. Now, God does not bake the bread for you. You get seed. You get money, you get seed, and you decide how you use the seed. And that's the story of the seed and the bread. So you decide the one you will mill into flour and turn into bread, and you decide the one that you will have a hearty lunch and a lovely dinner with friends and family. So how do we decide? What do I eat and what do I keep? How much do I eat and how much do I invest? What's the proportion of my investment compared to what I'm consuming? And so it's strange that we have eaten so much and we're unable to have investments that can be called legacies. And I'll explain that. We love children. Everyone gives their children the best that they can, which is excellent. But the children are a legacy and should be handed a legacy. And if you calculate for the past 5 years how much you spent on children's holidays or children's, whatever the extra expenses for children, and you figure out if anything happened to you today, can your child even afford to feed themselves? Now, this brings me to society's part to play in this matter, because the bottom line is the choice is ours. We decide how much we eat and how much we invest. I'm sure this forum is to encourage us to invest, to diversify our investments, to ensure that we're investing not only financial investments, we're also investing in the children and all the people that are around us, also in our community. Society is us. Society is you and I. Society is not E.T. that came down from some new planet or some strange planet. We are society. And sometimes society is the one that honors success but despises the process that leads to success. It's unfortunate that we honor those that have achieved success, but we despise the process that they traveled on to get there. And by doing this, we prevent more people from becoming successful. We must identify the things that are kept with us in trust for the children. We must identify that sometimes the resources with us are kept in trust for our children, and we're not to use it up. We're not to eat it up, such that they now have no seed left that they can plant, even if they choose to plant. We must not suck up our children's lives along with ours as well. Within every seed is a plantation, and within every fruit and every seed within that plantation is yet another plantation. You must not give it up. The fact that you don't need it doesn't mean you shouldn't pursue it. You pursue it, and that is what forms the portfolio of the legacy that you are leaving to your own children. The time has come for us to make the choice that the next 1-2 buckle my shoe, 5 bags, or whatever catches your fancy is actually a plot of land in a choice place. Whether you want to build or not, build a house or build something commercial, just get it and hold on to it. And this is something that you can very proudly hand over to those that will come after. We must bring up the younger ones in a way that they learn the processes, the line by line and precept upon precept, the importance of hard work and diligence and dedication, and not just this Tom and Jerry world, because it's not a Tom and Jerry world, and life is not a video game. You can't shut it down and start it again if you don't like how the game is going. We need to encourage and instill that discipline within them. Otherwise, the legacies that are being left to them, they will not be able to manage it.
Mrs. Hamda Amba, Her Excellency the First Lady of Sokoto State, Mrs. Mairo Tambuwal, and some of the panelists and female executives speak on the event and the prospects for deepening financial inclusion for women in Nigeria.
I'll just step back a little bit and first of all tell you about how we came to be doing this at all. We decided a few years ago that it was important for us to have events from time to time to bring together our clients and then later on our friends and our prospective clients to tell them about topical issues and what our perspective is on that and how they can learn from it, benefit from it, and use the information in their own lives. So this is the fourth in the series of events that we've held, and we chose the topic women, I think, money and leaving a financial legacy, because we think it's very important to women and indeed to society at large. Women play a very important role in our economy. Some of it is unrecorded in terms of money, but I think there's hardly a household that a woman does not contribute in some way to making sure the household runs. And sometimes it's in the informal economy, but whether a woman is rich or she's poor, her family is paramount to her. They want the success for the future and for the children. And I think it's a well-known fact, for instance, that they say if you educate a woman, you have educated the nation. If you empower a woman, you have empowered the family. So we feel that it's important for women to have greater insights on what to do with the proceeds of their work, how to make it even work better for themselves, their families, and for the future. And that's when we talk about leaving a financial legacy in the future for the children while you're still alive and after you're gone.
There's a need for a proper synergy between the private sector and the public sector. Indeed, in the rural areas, there are a lot of challenges, but they can be surmounted if corporate social responsibilities are redirected, to look into those areas. Most importantly, to pass bills at the legislative levels, that can give women the proper quota, local quota. We talk about the Berlin Conference or the 35% affirmative actions all the time, but yet we hardly meet up to 10% of it. So if we can come up with our own domestic gender policy that can be implemented, I think that will go a long way and it will help a lot of women.
What I'd like to say is leaving a legacy for our children is about giving them knowledge on how to be finance savvy, teaching them to live a life of their own and not necessarily to rely on the wealth of their parents. Having said that, we as women find it very difficult to remain financially strong and independent because we have a lot of things that engage our time. We care about the children, we care about the home, and we put that first before money. But it behoves on us to think a little bit about what can we leave for the children behind. We give them a good education, yes. We give them good moral upbringings, yes. But being financial savvy is also very important. Knowing when to put money aside, knowing how to save, knowing how to invest for the future, I think is very important.
I think one of the big takeaways for me was that the discussion around the fact that, African women in particular, women generally work hard, but they don't amass wealth. And what are the reasons? And that we need to look at some of those reasons and look at strategies to solve that. Because just the same way men are able to leave, or some men are able to leave a financial legacy, so should hardworking women.
I started buying shares when I was in youth service, several years ago. And it's never too early to start with our children or our grandchildren or whatever. So the younger you are, the longer the time horizon you have. So in summary, I would say mutual funds are a very good place to start. And our banks, merchant banks like FSDH, stockbroking firms provide ready advice on mutual funds.
I've been investing with FSDH for about 3 years, a little bit over 3 years. They do a good job as an investment bank and everything, and I'm happy with them. What I would advise for women out there is it's important to actually invest your money so that you're watching it or helping it to grow rather. And but having said that, it's also important for women to educate themselves about investment, to have a background idea and have some knowledge about investments. That way, when you now approach, or a bank like FSDH approaches you, you also have some information and you can ask the right questions, and it will help them also help you to make the right choices in whatever investments you want to look at or go ahead and actually do.
Well, I must commend FSDH for putting this together. For me, I think it's from what the wife of the vice president said, giving up small things to save, as simple as a bottle of Coke, a bottle of wine, lunch with the friends, and using that opportunity to save. I think I'm blessed because I made a decision about 3 years ago to actively start saving again. So I'm on track, but I know I can even do a lot better. So that for me is one of the biggest things, as well as transferring that onto my children. Obviously, my first is going to be 18, and it's not too late, not too early to actually start saving. So my takeaway today is to transfer that to them. That's for me the legacy, that my children have better savings and better investments when they become my age.
According to Melinda Gates, when we invest in women, we're investing in the people who invest in everyone else. This therefore means that a financial market that gives priority to the empowerment of women, especially those in the rural areas, will contribute to the economic growth and elevation of poverty in Nigeria.